Mithril Racing was founded almost 30 years ago, which actually makes us one of the longest established companies in this industry, providing track driving experiences and giving people the opportunity to actually drive cars they wouldn't otherwise even get the opportunity to sit behind the wheel of. We've got a fleet of cars which we hope the average person will want to drive, and not just people who are out and out car enthusiasts. We've got 4 Ferraris of all different ages, and it's a Ferrari that most people want to drive. They've seen the Formula One, they've seen the pop stars and film stars drive them, and of all the cars we've got, it's Ferrari that we get most phone calls about.
Absolutely excellent, brilliant, well worth it.
Easily the most outlandish looking car in our fleet is the Lamborghini Gallardo, and as such it carries on the traditions set by the Miura, the Countach and the Diablo. But perhaps more importantly, with 500 horsepower and 4-wheel drive, it's got the power and handling to match its striking good looks, and not surprisingly it's hugely popular with the guests.
Gallardo was an excellent car. It is a pleasure to drive, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And it just one of the experience of lifetime. I've driven lots of sports cars, but never driven anything like it.
The Aston Martin V8 Vantage was built to take the title of everyday supercar away from Porsche. And I'd say that while it matches it for speed and poise, it totally trumps it on the desirability factor. I think it's much better looking, there's more of a sense of occasion when you're driving it, and it's the only car in our fleet that comes close to sounding as good as our AC Cobra.
The Vantage was amazing. It's something I've never experienced before, and just the power and the performance of the car is really something that just blows your mind when you're out there on the track.
At the other end of the scale, the classic scale, we've got an Aston Martin DB4, which is the model just before the Sean Connery James Bond car. It looks just the same. The Aston Martin strapline in those days was be a king amongst men and a prince amongst women. And Aston Martin has still got that cachet amongst discerning male enthusiasts.
For me, it was a dream come true. It's something that I've always wanted to drive, and to have the experience of driving it, it was fantastic. It was all that I expected it to be. So what more? I can't really say anything more than that, really, you know.
We've got a lovely Jaguar DType. It's a Series 1 fixed-head coupe, 4.2. The Jaguar DType is a car loved by the 45 to 60s age group. This is the car they wanted when they were teenagers. George Best had one. It was definitely the car for the stars in the swinging 60s, and now, finally, they can actually get to drive one. The Jaguar DType was built to stop Ferrari from winning at Le Mans again, and it succeeded. We couldn't find anyone to lend us an original, so we made a fabulous replica. And when Sterling Moss visits to do high-speed passenger rides for us, this is the car he always asks for. The Lotus Cortina is such an interesting car. It was created in the early 1960s when Ford wanted some publicity and Lotus needed to sell more engines. So they put a racing engine in a family saloon car, which of course then spawned an entire series of fast Fords. Hence, it was the only family car you could look ice cool in on the King's Road and then drive to Goodwood and win races in. Our guests can literally pretend to be Jim Clark for a few laps.
Well, it was a great ride, very positive steering, good braking, and I really enjoyed it.
The AC Cobra is definitely the most popular car in our classic car fleet. It's something to do with its combination of burly good looks, hugely powerful engine. It's also brutish and muscular to drive, and of all the cars we have, including the Ferraris, it's got the best soundtrack, the best engine noise.
Brilliant. That ride was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. You could actually kind of open the throttle up and give it a good go, and the sensation of speed on the track is just awesome. I absolutely love that one.
There are 2 Porsches on our fleet. As with the Aston Martins, we've got a modern one and a classic one. The classic is a replica of the famous 73 RS, and it's got all the right bits to make it faster than the standard 911. It's basically the quintessential go fast, no frills, Germanic sports car. No particular luxuries like air conditioning or electric windows. Very popular with those who know their cars. The more modern Porsche is a 911 996, and this one's popular really just by being a Porsche 911. They have a cult following rather than it being an aficionado's car. But like all generations of 911, it's great fun, easy to drive, goes like stink, and is a very positive driving car. We've got a fleet of single-seater racing cars. They are slick and wing racers with proper Hewland gearboxes. Hewland being a type of racing gearbox that's got no synchro, is very mechanical and utterly precise. Single-seaters, of course, don't have a single luxury. And there's always a core of people who want to drive a racing car. They can't afford Formula One, that's impractical, but we can get people to experience a proper racing machine around Goodwood from the other side of the barrier.
Absolutely fantastic. Really good, yeah.
Most of our guests first go out in an Alfa Romeo with a highly experienced race instructor who demonstrates the correct way to drive safely at speed on a motor circuit. We then change places with the guest who drives us under instruction. We give hints and tips on track driving techniques, including braking, gear changing, and using the racing line.
So going through this corner, sweep in from left to right, so right over to that cone there, that's it. Good, nicely done. And then let the car run wide.
This instruction enables them to get the most out of their track experience, while also ensuring that the car gets round all the corners safely and thus comes back in one piece. But more importantly, the guest and the instructor do too.
It was good, really enjoyed it. I was a bit scared, but got up to about 100 eventually.
We use Alfa Romeos for this because they are fast and reliable, handle safely, and are really enjoyable to drive, and of course look absolutely gorgeous. We've got a fantastic team of instructors who always attract glowing compliments in all our customer satisfaction surveys. They're all great racing drivers, but they're all very experienced instructors as well. It's vital that they've got the maturity and gravitas to control any and all situations they might be faced with when they're out on track with a guest who's behind the wheel of a highly powerful sports car. Our kart track and fleet of karts are used for a bit of competition and a lot of fun. For obvious reasons, we can't have our visitors actually competing on the main circuit in those wonderful cars, so the karts provide the chance to actually race against each other wheel to wheel.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I was getting overexcited. It was great.
Right next to the kart track is our skid pan. This is where you drive on a super slippery surface and are taught how to create and control skids in a fun yet totally safe environment. We also teach drifting and power slides and handbrake turns. The skid pan is a perfect example of a place where you can learn something life-saving while having a great time doing it. The Mini Adventure and the Ferrari Adventure are popular combination vouchers. They've got a bit of everything. You get to drive around the circuit, you get driven around the circuit, you get to race the karts and practice skidding, and you learn how not to skid as well. They're a bit more of a day out than the individual vouchers.
My lap was brilliant.
I went round in a Mini like really fast, like 90 miles an hour, overtook a bloke, so go on girls, try it.
If somebody asked me what Mithril racing does, I would say Mithril racing enables people to experience Goodwood Motor Circuit from the track side of the barrier in a variety of amazing cars which normally are only accessible to the very fortunate. And I think this is a remarkable thing to be able to do for those that pay us a visit. It seems that everyone agrees with me because they all leave with big smiles on their faces.
Well, that was just a childhood dream come true, driving that car.
Excellent fun, recommend it to anybody.
I've very much enjoyed it.
And I've got to do this day again, really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
It's just the most fantastic feeling in the world. I can't explain in any other detail just how good that felt. Brilliant.